Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer kicking off the 50-cent late pick 5 on Sam F. Davis Saturday at Tampa Bay Downs. You can play the 50-cent pick 5. You can play the first leg of the Grade 3 Tampa Bay Stakes with a DRF Bets account. Deposit $50, bet with $200 when you sign up at bets.drf.com. Let's meet the field of older turf horses getting set to go a mile and a 16th on the turf. Race number 8 at Tampa Bay Downs on Saturday. Heart to Heart, one of the more popular horses in training, is your 9-5 morning line favorite. Multiple Grade 1 stakes winner last year. $2 million in the bank, and we've said it many, many times on our various DRFTV programs. When Heart to Heart is able to establish an easy and clear early lead, he is tough to catch. Right. When he doesn't make the lead, it's a different story. Last time out, he hopped right up at the start, didn't make the lead, ran well, but didn't win.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, it does seem like he's a different horse when he's able to control the action early. It's funny when you watch his last race too, because after he didn't break that great, Leparoux didn't send him early to try and make the lead. He just let him settle off the pace. The trip actually worked out pretty well for him. He took over the lead in the stretch. But he just, I don't know, to me anyway, he just didn't fight at all. When those two closers came from him at the end, he never tried to hold them off. It didn't look like. He settled for third. I don't know, Dan. Obviously, he can win this race. He's a short price on the morning line. If he makes the lead, I guess he's tough. I don't really want a short price on this horse anymore.
Timeform US believes not only will he make the lead, but in a situation that favors horses on or near the early lead. His last race, it was his first start off a 3-month layoff. Maybe he needed it, but he's also 8 years old now, and Father Time makes mortals of us all, and perhaps Heart to Heart is getting a little bit long in the tooth. But with this situation in the past, he's very, very tough to catch. Let's talk about some of the closers in here. Horses that might be just slightly sharper. And in my opinion, the horse to beat other than Heart to Heart's Kurban. That's the number 4 for Kieran McLaughlin, who's run 3 times in North America. Graded stakes winner, ran well in the Shadwell Turf Mile. Last time out, got wired by Glorious Empire. I thought he got shuffled back a little bit on the turn while down inside, and then ran on a bit to be second. He has run some fast races. This pace situation, though, ain't great for him.
No, it's not. All 3 of the races he's run since he arrived over here, though, are actually pretty good. He was a maiden on turf when he got here, but he's run well in all 3 of his starts, Grade 2, Grade 1 company, and all of them. I hear what you're saying about his last race. He was just sort of in behind horses through that second turn and couldn't really get a run started. And by the time he did, Glorious Empire had already opened up on that field. On the other hand, I thought Bravo actually gave him a really, really good ride last time. I liked the way this horse was finishing at the end to be second. I don't know. I hear what you're saying. Maybe he is the horse to beat outside of Heart to Heart. I just felt like this was a race that went beyond those 2 horses. I thought there were other interesting horses in this race.
Divisadero's closing in on $1.5 million in earnings. He ran in that Kurban race, the Fort Lauderdale, last time out. And for the second consecutive race, he had to be uncovered early. He made this 4-wide move on the far turn. He flattened out a little bit late. In the Breeders' Cup Mile, he made this big early bid to the lead, and he faltered. And I wonder, he was going to run in the Shadwell Turf Mile. He threw a fit behind the gate. I wonder if without that prep race, he was a little short in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and it hurt him. I think you need to take him back, you need to cover him up, and you need to make one run. And that hasn't happened in his last 2 races. But again, with his running style, he could be up against it from a pace standpoint.
Yeah, if you're gonna ride him like that in this race, it may not work out that well for him. I mean, you could even go back 3 starts on his card and go back to that Woodbine Mile where he had no chance. He's run well in each of his last 3 starts. He's a contender in this race for sure. I don't know what kind of trip he can really get in here, Dan. And he's just another horse. You know, if he's in that, I don't know, 7-2 to 9-2 range, do you really want him? And I want other horses if he's going to be that price.
A horse that's upwardly mobile and can be close to the pace is the 6, Admiralty Pier, who will be making his second start as a 4-year-old. He has already won over this course and distance this meet, but he got an ideal pace situation to beat now winners of 2 other than last time out. This time he is going to have to be closer to the pace.
Yeah, they can keep him closer. That's a good thing for him. We'll see. I think you're looking at a horse here who clearly does have to run his best race if he's going to beat a field like this one, because this is a pretty good field. On the other hand, I've always liked this horse. I think he's actually pretty good. He missed a lot of time. After that, I'll call it a poor performance last June at Woodbine going 7 furlongs. He missed a lot of time after that. He's 3rd off the layoff now. I don't love the field he beat last time, and he did get a perfect trip to do it, but he ran pretty well in that race. I think this horse is a contender at a price, and I'm going to use this horse.
Before we get to our top picks, let's talk about a couple of long shots. The one Cheyenne's Colonel, 50-1 on the morning line, eligible for a non-winners of 2 life, and if he couldn't win last time, were he able to control an easy lead against inferior non-winners of 1 other than, it's tough to imagine him pulling off a shocker here.
Right, he's a little bit of an overachiever as far as his races go, but he's been really tough in a race like this. He's going to be a huge price.
My Barrelet occasionally runs some nice races against listed competition. He's been banging around for a tag in 2 out of his last 3 races. He was completely compromised by the lack of pace last time out when Ira Strait, who we'll get to in a minute, was able to wire those horses. And 2 starts back, he got the pace he needed to run down the field. Right. If he is pace dependent against this field, he's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the race doesn't set up well for him at all. Even the best race he's ever run isn't going to get it done against this field. He's a pretty nice horse. So he's won a couple of stakes races. He's grade 3 place. There's nothing wrong with him, but this is a tough spot for him.
Let's talk about our top picks for the grade 3 Tampa Bay Stakes. And of course, we always respect horses like Heart to Heart and Care Bon. Yeah. You like the 2 Inspector Lindley, who won this race in 2017 when John Velasquez just gave him a beautiful ride. Very aggressive, getting out of the gate, getting him into prime tracking position, and Inspector Lindley did the rest. He ran in the Fort Lauderdale last time out. He was far back after breaking from the far outside post. I thought he was on hold while down towards the rail on the far turn. And then he followed Care Bon, and I thought he came with a nice late run. I thought it was a good setup for this.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, I just feel like it's an underrated performance last time. It showed that he can still run. He's a horse who, he's had his problems along the way, and he's a horse who, he doesn't always get good trips. Trips are really important to this horse. When he gets a good one, he's actually a pretty talented horse, but he needs a good trip. I love that he's drawn inside again, as you mentioned, when he won this race a couple of years ago, drawn inside, and they went forward with him. Jose Ortiz can do the same thing here. If he gets any kind of a trip up close, he's just as good as anybody in here. And he's 5-1 on the morning lines. I think that's a great price.
So you kind of answered the question I was going to ask you, which is ever since that Tampa Bay win, he has been farther back in his races. Does he have that kind of gas anymore? Or is it really up to Jose to say, listen, we can clear this horse to the inside. Let's let Heart to Heart get to the lead. Let's ride the pocket. Let's wear him down.
Yeah, I think at this stage of his career, you have to have intention. If you want him to be forward, you got to get him forward and then let him do the rest. You just can't take him back. But he has been compromised by post more than once recently.
I want to take a chance with Ira Strait in here. I know he had all the best of it last time out in that race that we talked about when discussing my Barreley's chances. He was able just to make an easy lead. I liked the way he was striding clear in the stretch. It was a race he needed from a confidence standpoint. The Ira Strait that we saw at Monmouth in 2018 just didn't seem like the one that was doing so well in 2017. He wasn't finishing with the same verve against horses like Synchrony, and I wonder if maybe something was amiss. Graham Ocean gave him some time. They ran him once against Bricks and Mortar. I don't fault that race. The last race was good. He can stay close to Heart. And if Fargus gets cute, I wonder if he makes Heart sit. Because if Heart sits, maybe Ira Strait can wire this field.
If he was mine, that's what I would do. I'd come out of there running, and I'd make the front in this race and see if he could wire this field. He's got races that make him a big contender in here. He doesn't always run it, but if he can make the lead in this race, I think that would go a long way to helping his chances.
Let's take a look at our top selections. 2 for Mike. He's going 2, 6, 4, 7. I'm going to take a little chance with Ira Strait. 5, 4, 2, and 3 in the grade 3 Tampa Bay. Kicking off the 50-cent late pick 5, a bet you can make with DRF bets. Ready, set, bet. Approximate post time for the Tampa Bay Stakes, 3:50 Eastern. Good luck.